Christopher Blair? Lieutenant Ichijo Reiko of the Black Swan Squadron on the TCS Shea Queen. I'm part of the new system, with the Confederation getting desperate and resorting to mercenaries. I might not have much love for the military, but it's preferable to annihilation. Cards on the table. While you were hunting the Sivar, we had our own covert operation. You see, the Queen's commanding officers believed that the Kilrathi would go on slave raids using that weapon, and they had a plan to stop it. A very dark, sinister plan. If you lost the Sivar or couldn't destroy it, our captain and colonel intended to initiate hammer-down protocols, use every resource to evacuate as many people as possible, and then leveling anything the Kilrathi could use, including anyone left behind. They considered it a mercy to slavery, and believed the potential victims would agree. Interesting observation you made there. Can't say I noticed myself, too busy fighting back. I like the lasers that are utilized on our patrol Hornet craft for their range and energy output. They might not have the power of even the scimitar, but I like the idea of the Kilrathi being unable to fight back. They went Hunter for a touch and go. Do I call him Hunter or Lieutenant St. John? We used to do these all the time. In fact, they were encouraged so that saturation training would build our confidence and we were comfortable with aborting even when we hit ground. Probably helped we had permission, and the flight crews were notified beforehand. She keeps going on about killing herself, making some grand sacrifice. Hell, even the colonel gave her grief over it. Not me, necessarily, but someone really needs to talk sense into her before she get a wingman. Or woman who thinks they'll give her what she wants, if she doesn't get them killed first. Heard Iceman raging long and loud about the Society of Mandarins, these Confed traitors, and how he'd kill any he finds. Right on. Guy had a kid the Kilrathi had taken as a slave. He can get in line behind me or I follow, doesn't matter. Either way, if they're aiding the enemy, they gotta be taken out. Of all the pilots on the Tiger's Claw, I think I like Archer the most. Bossman is probably the best, but Gwen Bowman. The only negative thing I have to say about her is she needs to be comfortable with pulling the trigger. Though payback. I get the opportunity, I'm giving her every chance to live up to her call sign. I like Makedons a lot. Smart enough to always be armed in case it's needed. Okay, we're not supposed to carry firearms, but you really going to trust the Kilrathi talk of honor and fair play? I've seen what they do to prisoners. They're hollow. I'd rather trust Spirit, and you know how I feel about her suicidal Japanese stereotypical attitude. Blair's telling those stories again about cloaked ships? Maybe he really did see something. Not see something. Stealth technology had been around for hundreds of years after all. Had anyone thought to actually have him clarify between nothing showing on radar and the ships actually being invisible? True. All true. On the other hand, they had been trying to achieve actual cloaking technology for hundreds of years. When stealth tech was first introduced, some thought it actually made things invisible. Maybe the Kilrathi actually cracked the code. Maybe even Fed High Command don't want to believe it. Okay. Look at Sector 228. What do you see? A little forward-thinking, outside-the-box tactics. Bottom line, it's possible. You can make a ship virtually undetectable. Not true stealth, think the Red October, but close enough to not make a difference. Reasonable enough to consider the possibility a pilot might be fooled. This room's been left untouched? Excellent. I'll go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Copy every piece of digital correspondence, and no, this does not mean Spirit is guilty. Let's prove it. Then try and find something she missed. Send her records to the geeks at Confed Intel, and see if they can get a lead on the traitor. Checked the replay. That wasn't combat damage, that was a bomb. I don't like the thought it was suicide. At all. I gotta believe she intended to destroy the space station. Kill Philip so he couldn't be used against her. And right till the end still come back alive. For Spirit's sake, for her fiancé's sake, let me have this one. None of my business if the Colonel and Blair are rutting. They're consenting adults. If you really pushed me, quite frankly. Assuming he's no traitor, he deserves to get himself a little. Mary Jane wants some. After all, I highly doubt the Colonel would go for it unless she wanted it herself. Screw the regulations. We haven't had any trouble. Not since... Well, I read through, and if it was a hoax, it was far more elaborate than breaking into comms and a bomb on the flight deck. if she was a traitor. If all that about her fiancé with some master plan, and I highly doubt it was, maybe we can relax a little. But if there is still a traitor, we know how to deal with them. Executing a traitor without trial is against regulations? No shit. So is bombing the flight deck, or blackmail, or the wing commander screwing her pilots. That last one I actually support. Treat herself. A nice distraction, maybe even a moral boost. But yeah, don't give a shit about the regs when it comes to this traitor. No need to waste time on a trial. There's some people outside of Confed who will get whatever information he has in an hour. And no one ever need to know. He murdered Mariko, good as. Tried to fit up Blair for all of this. Hell was going to kill you. You of all people should want justice for what he's done. I'll stay out of it so he does get there alive. But I think you're making a big mistake. I can feel it. Even if he doesn't escape, word will get around, he'll become a figurehead. The people on the claw, MacGuffin, Mariko, Marin, they would have died. For nothing. We can stop that from happening. I told them. I freaking tried to warn them of the consequences of letting him live, and he showed he's too dangerous to live. Again. 15 years ago, she would have done it. I read her history. What the hell happened? I should have done something about it regardless of orders. Hopefully someone will before anyone else dies. Oh, for crying out loud. I know killing without a trial is against the regs, but that kind of went out the window when she started with Maverick. How many more need to die before this is dealt with? The right way. Look, I get it. I also get that justice has a price. And the justice she wants has cost more lives. Christopher Blair, or as he's likely to be known as after this, Luke Skywalker, did what Confed should have done, and made the traitor play the blues. That takes care of the cremation. No harp where he's going. And good fucking riddance. The people he's killed got the justice they deserve.